everyone, my name is Jacob Zeman, and I'm going to be interviewing Miss Carrie Williams. Carrie, what is the name or title of the organization where you work?
I work for Social Skills Playhouse.
Wonderful. How would you describe a typical day or week on the job?
I'm a board-certified behavioral analyst, so I work with all kinds of special needs kids and adults, and each behavioral analyst has 8 different clients that it's called a caseload, and we work with them on developing different programs for them, depending on what kind of program that they have.
Carrie, how did you get into this field?
I've always been interested in behavior, and I love working with special needs kids, and that's kind of how I got into this field.
Alright. Carrie, which majors do you feel are most successful in securing employment in this field?
Well, to be able to be a board-certified behavioral analyst, you have to have a master's degree. But you can also be a board-certified behavioral assistant with a bachelor's degree. But if you don't want to become a board-certified behavioral analyst, what you also can do is you can also be in our field, but you get a special certification. It's called an RBT. So you can have an RBT certification and also work with a bachelor's degree in our field. You don't design programs or anything. You work mainly with the kids implementing the programs that the BCBA writes and designs.
Alright. What are the most satisfying aspects of your job?
I love working with the families. So a lot of times we have families come in and that need different programs designed for communities. So let's just say the child needs a feeding plan written. So I can write a feeding plan for that family, and they can implement it within the community. So if I help them learn to eat pizza, well then they eat pizza at a restaurant, which in turn is successful because then they can go out and eat pizza in the community with their family, where before I wrote an intervention they weren't able to do that.
What frustrations or drawbacks have you experienced in this position?
So one of the aspects of being a BCPA is that we have to submit our interventions to insurance companies. And so if you submit your interventions to insurance companies, and we say, okay, well this client needs 40 hours of ABA, and the insurance company comes back and says, no, we can't do that, we're not going to pay for that, we're only going to pay for 20 hours of ABA. So that's what we have to do. So we're kind of in a box when it comes with we have to do what the insurance company says, and so sometimes that's kind of a bummer because you could think that the client may need more services and we can't provide that for the client. So that's one not so good thing about the industry that I work in.
How often do you travel, and for how long do you travel?
I don't travel very much because I work for a clinic, but I also do private in-home therapy, and so I drive all around the Houston area. So I know I drive over 100 miles a day for those private clients.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage of your time is spent utilizing computers, interacting with people, or writing reports?
Okay. Okay, so people, and people is people slash clients, kids is at least 50% of the day. And then it depends on like what reports and stuff. So I could say at least 40% of the day is spent with the computer. Sometimes I'm with the computer with the client. So I guess that would be still about 40%. And then, what was the other one?
Writing reports.
Oh, reports. Oh, yes. I would say another 20-25% of the day is spent writing reports. Yeah.
Alright. Great. How much contact do you have with people outside of your organization? What is your relationship to these people?
Okay, so within the organization, we have 2 days a month that we go and we do fun stuff. Like, so once a month we go bowling. It's just, or we go to the movies with our families, or we'll do stuff at the park, just to keep the morale up and keep us more of a family unit than just always working together.
Right, of course. Carrie, how does your career affect your lifestyle?
Well, I like my career. The one thing about it is it does take up a lot of time because if one of my clients was having a horrible behavior and they would call me, then I would have to stop what I was doing outside of work and help them with whatever I could on the phone. And has been some times where I've had to go stop what I'm doing and leave another client or something that I was doing with my family and help take care of whatever behavior that client was in. So that is another aspect that you just have to be flexible because you never know when a behavior may happen and what you need to do to help. I mean, because they are your clients, and so you have to help when behaviors come. You have to help.
Of course. And what educational degrees, licenses, or any other credentials are required for entry and even advancement in your line of work?
Okay. So to be a BCBA, you have to have a master's degree, and there's only certain colleges that you can get the master that has that program, and then I mean, there's a lot of people that go ahead and get their doctorates, and they have a doctorate in behavioral analyst, and then if you just have a bachelor's degree, then you can become a board analyst assistant. And then if you don't want to become an assistant, then you can be RBT certified. But that's still, those are all different certifications that you can get. And then, I mean, I guess the top of the top would be a clinical, there's lots of different, you can be a BCBA and work in the clinic, but also, I guess the top of the line would be a clinical director. So, and that's like, I think you have to have 15 years of experience to be a clinical director in a behavioral clinic.
Right. And what skills or personal characteristics, traits, or values do you believe are necessary or helpful for success and satisfaction in your occupation?
I think the most important thing is that you have to be honest. And you have to make sure that the client gets their services that they need. I think that's the most important thing in this industry.
Right. What trade or professional groups do you belong with? Which do you find to be most beneficial to your work?
So the two ones that I'm a part of, one is called FEET, and the other one is called ABBA, which those are both huge ABA umbrellas that people that are BCBAs, they all kind of come together so that they can trade ideas, and we go to different clinics and that kind of stuff. So those are the two that I'm a part of.
Alright. How do people usually learn of job openings in your field?
The two ways are word of mouth, and it's called Indeed.com. Those are the two that I know of.
What do you wish that you had known directly about this career field before you entered into it?
A lot of families need help that don't know that, behaviorally speaking, that don't have the tools. And that's one of the things. You don't see that a lot of families don't have tools, to make their lives better.
Right. So do you know of any books or periodicals that you would recommend?
Anything, anything in the behavioral journals. You can just Google them. It's behavioral journals. You can find lots of different articles there.
And what kinds of entry-level jobs are available in any sort of organization like this?
So you could always start out as it's called a behavioral tech. They're called behavioral techs in the clinical in a behavioral clinic, and they start you out like at $12. In Texas, like at $12 an hour, and you don't have to have any experience. And they do like no experience, and they train you all the way up to being a behavioral technician.
Karen, what are your personal future career plans?
Well, I love the industry that I'm in, and I'm just going to keep working. The clinical director, we work really well together, and I plan just to keep working, and maybe one day retire.
Karen, do you have any special advice that you would give to any sort of young people who might be entering your field?
You really have to love this field because, you're in a behavioral clinic, and kids with behavioral problems, they can be aggressive and they can be mean. But if you think about it, like you're helping them increase their life in different aspects, whether it be social skills or verbal skills or eating skills, then I think that's a really good thing.
All right. Well, thank you so much for granting me the opportunity to interview you.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you.